Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University. What's happening? Checking things out on Free Comic Book Day, baby. So what do we got here? We got Yeto's over here. What's going on, Yeto? Um, Marvel Ultimate Alliance three's playable characters seem pretty finalized. When does that game drop again? Because yeah, I get the very distinct feeling that what do you call it? I'm gonna have to be getting a Nintendo Switch just so that my kids and somebody else in the house, me, can play this game because yeah, it's it is looking pretty fun. I don't think it's going to be nearly as good as the previous two, especially the previous, the first one. Oh my god, the first one was amazing. Yeah, sheer amount of returning characters. No Fantastic Four, huh? Expect a DLC. If characters have been seen play, yeah, Polaris, Kamala Khan, Quicksilver. Oh, I almost had a Quicksilver character today. Not today. I would have actually gone to pick it up, yeah, 2 days ago. And somebody went and bought it out from underneath me. Oh well. What's up, Sabah? How you doing? Sean Sadrai. Sup, Bill? Did you read the Avengers free comic? I did not. As a matter of fact, I didn't read any of the free comic book day comics except for the Carnage one. I'm going to go in tomorrow to my comic book store just to see what they got, see whatever's left over, and I'll probably pick up some of those just because, we get a pretty big comic book store, and any of the ones that didn't get out the door for free, I'm kind of thinking it's just going to be one of those things where it's like, whatever, man. You know what I'm saying? Let me see if I can give these guys a boost, Everybody else, I think they got whatever boost they need, but these, the free comic book day stuff, they go out for a reason. They go out because somebody's trying to put something out. I don't know when I'm going to put out a line of comic books that I plan on doing, but I promise you that when I am, I'm going to make every effort to make an issue 0 through free comic book day. I'll probably partner up with somebody else. I'll put in 15 pages. They'll put in 15 pages. Or 12 and 12, whatever, and we'll see what we could do. But yeah, free comic book day should be something special, and it's a really good way to put something out so that more people see your stuff. So I'll try and give some people some promotions. What's up, Caleb? Yeto set to drop 2019. Still no specific release date. Okay, so sometime this year. Plenty of time for that. Sup, Jeffrey Lane's here. What's going on, dude? City Heroes just came back on PC. Yeah, a lot of people talking about that, but I looked and I didn't see it. If is it on stream by chance? Because I wouldn't mind stopping by and seeing what's up. Slay, what's going on, Slay? Oh my God, Slay's here early. That's shit. It's a freaking apocalypse, isn't it? Freaking zombies are walking the streets right now, aren't they? Let's just come on. All right. Anyway, I did stop in for a couple minutes for a free comic book day. I got there about 12. I came walking in, and shoot, Comic Night, I think it was. He was walking out, and he's like, "Oh, look at this!" I'm walking out, and then all of a sudden, here comes Professor Bill. I'm like, "Hi." He's like, "No, I'm glad I got to meet you again." I was like, "Again, when did I meet you?" He's like, "Before you actually started doing the comic books." I was the comic book channel. I was like, "Oh wow!" So like literally when I first got to Canada. All right then. What do you call it? Yeah, we could talk about Endgame. It's fine. I mean, like, it's one of those things, like, here, I guess. I don't know, just put spoilers. Yeah, put spoilers and then talk about whatever you want. But for each one of the posts that you do that's got a spoiler in it, put a spoiler. So if you got, like, a 250 word thing and it only allows you to do 200 words here, put a spoiler for both things, please. Let us know when you put out something of yours, Professor. Oh, I'll definitely let you guys know. Shoot. Rebel Paragon, what's up? We got Jeffrey Lane. I'm mad at Howard the Duck was in Endgame, but shown as an afterthought. I'm not even a big fan of him. Ghost Rider should have appeared. The only character who appeared in Endgame that made it official was actually Jarvis. So, yeah, by Jarvis being there, and technically, well, not technically, but unofficially, Peggy Carter. Peggy Carter was in the movies and she was in, whatever, so that's, it is what it is. But Jarvis was only in the TV show. So by him showing up in the actual movie, it was like, oh crap, they just made Agents of S.h.i.e.l.d. Through default Agents of S.h.i.e.l.d., it's going to say that later, but they just made the Peggy Carter TV show official canon. Sweet. So by proxy, you could say that Agents of S.h.i.e.l.d. is also canonical because, they crossed over so perfectly. But without a doubt. Yeah, I saw the Agents of S.h.i.e.l.d. Season 6 trailer is out. Clark Gregg is a villain now. I don't know if he's a... he said that the only way that he would come back is if he got to play a different character, which is weird, right? So he's either playing an LMD or an evil twin brother or something soap opera-y like that. So, yeah, I'm okay with it. I'm just happy to see him back. 4 Days to Hawkman, number 12. It's going to be good. What's going on there, Tim Board? How you doing? I was just wearing my Hawkman t-shirt yesterday, and I was thinking about wearing it today to Free Comic Book Day and represent, and it was a little bit smelly. It turns out you can't wear a shirt 2 days in a row. Oh, well, I tried. I was going to represent like crazy, dude. What do we got here? One Step Too Far. What's going on, man? It's finally here. Avengers disassembled. Captain Marvel destroys the MCU. It's a parody. Love you. What is this? Okay. Cool. Yeto, can't imagine how Nate Gray fans felt about X-Men Disassembled. Yeah, I know. Also mad at how Fox Smallville Gotham, I knew they would do it. That was a bad show in my opinion. I still gotta watch season 2 and on. Looks like time displaced alternate reality Coulson. Could be. Hey, what's up, Suan? As long as they didn't make the Inhuman TV series canon, I'm happy. Oh, okay. I'm going to tell you guys something. When I had my interview on this podcast with Donnie Cates, before the interview started, I was like setting up all my stuff and everything and explaining to him, listen, I can see you, the audience can see you, the audience can see me, but you can't see me, obviously. I've only got one camera, and that's not the way my XSplit works. Sorry. He's like, oh, no problem, whatever, it's cool. And, we're just talking and everything. And I was like, so what did you think about that? Because we were talking, at the time, his Death of the Inhumans was still coming out. I was like, so what do you think about the Inhumans movie? And he's like, what? The TV series. I was like, what did you think about the TV series? He's like, what TV series? I'm like, the Inhumans TV series. He's like, what TV series? I'm like, I gotcha. As a guy from Jersey, I'm no stranger to sarcasm. He's like, yeah, I can't believe they did that. I was like, yeah, I'm 100% with you. Because, like, he loves everything that Marvel puts out. The movies, the TV series, everything. He watches the DC stuff. He watches all that stuff. He's like, the only true abomination is what they did to the Inhumans. I'm like, I liked the actors. I'm just so disappointed with what they did to these poor people, And he's like, yeah, 100%. So I didn't want to put that on because I don't want to have, a guy from Marvel talking bad about Marvel on a live podcast, but like it's a year later. I think we're good. Is it a year? Whatever. It was a long time ago. That podcast was in the double digits, so that was a long time ago. Anyway, hey, I met a couple people today. Who did I meet today? Let's see. So I got a Next Gen issue number 3 from Age of X-Man, but Marcus Toe signed it. Look at that, guys. Come on now. Marcus Toe. And yes, I spoke with him, and his name is actually Toe. I was like, okay, I've always been pronouncing it correctly, but by default. So, boom, got his signature there. That was awesome, right? Let's see, who else did I get? I got, here we go. I got, look, I looked for my Naomi issue number 1. I couldn't find it. I always do this stuff last minute, and I had to get up out the freaking door, so I was late. I didn't get it on time, but I did, however, go and buy from the comic book store issue number 1 of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, and I got Jamal Campbell to sign it for me. And yeah, he asked me, sorry, Professor, is 1F, 2 S's? Like, yes, it is. The guy next to him, Made fun of him big time, dude. Big time. Holy crap. Made fun of him big time. I actually have to take this one out of the wrapping. What do you call it? Here we go. Bang. There we go. Okay, we good now. So, blah, 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 blah. Letters by Tom B. Long. I love this. Anyway, David Garcia Cruz was hanging out next to him, chilling out, and turns out, yeah, he just wanted to make fun of him the whole time. But he did the colors on the IDW Black Panther book, and Jesus, who else was in here? Okay, see, I'm trying to see it, and I can't see it. Paris. Who the heck is Paris? Why don't I see it on here? What is this crap? Okay, I'm actually really upset here. Man, what's up with that? Okay, somebody named Paris did this, and I'm not familiar with this guy, and it bothers me. I'm very bothered that I can't find this guy. But anyway, I got it signed by Cruz and Paris, and I don't know who Paris is. So that's, like, I feel really bad on this one, man. Really freaking bad. But anyway, yeah, I got those two to sign Black Panther #1. This is good because I didn't read it. And Paris is a real smartass, man. Like, he was actually so sarcastic that I started to think some of the stuff was actually real that he was saying. I started to feel like maybe he was just a little bit of it, because he was like, and luckily for you, I know how to spell professor. I was like, oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, you know, of course you were listening. That's not really fair. He's like, by the way, how do you spell Bill? Is that 2 L's and 1 I? I was like, unbelievable. Listen, just make it a really cool B, okay? How about you do that? Like, just messing with me. But anyway, yeah, and then here's a fun one. Here's a really fun one. This is a comic book that I never read before either. And I didn't actually even know that it existed. And go figure, it's actually by Cullen Bunn. But I did get Adam Gorshin to sign my Punk Mambo issue #1, which I actually paid $10 for. But whatever. It's a fairly expensive comic book, but yeah, got Adam to sign that one for me. So that felt good. So I got 4 artists to excuse me, 5. I got 4 comic books done. Shoot, seriously? Tape. Gotta love it. Oh, no, it looks good. So, oh, look at this. Exo Manowar is going to be written by Dennis Hallam. Look at that. That's interesting. Okay, Dennis Hopeless Hallam. Awesome. All right. So, anyway, yeah, I got a bunch of people to sign my stuff, and that makes me happy, because to me, that's a big part of what Free Comic Book Day is all about. Oops, that doesn't go in there. That's going to go up here with my other pile. I separate stuff. Anyway, so yeah, that made me feel good. Okay, let's see what's going on. One step too far. I don't know what you're sharing, but please stop, because it's weird. Yeah, I don't know how big your channel is, but at some point you're going to have a channel and somebody's going to advertise on your channel, and you're going to realize how messed up it is. All the hard work you're putting in for somebody else just come along and start advertising stuff. Go to my Facebook page. Feel free to advertise whatever you want. You can find my Facebook page on the front page of this channel. Anyway, let's see. Man, I missed out on Black Order #5. Really? I'm sorry. And honestly, I didn't like it. I got to issue 3. I'm just like, I can't do it. Okay, there you go. So yeah, you're feeling the same thing I'm on. Big Dirk, what's up, brother? What's going on, Big Dirk? Big Dirk and Tom B. Long have got to be like some of my favorite porn names. I'm just saying. And Big Dirk, maybe one of these days you'll tell me what your real name is. Just, you know, when you're when you're not on scene. I'm just saying. I myself am on Pornhub, but I'm still using Professor Bill, and I keep my clothes on. A lot of people think I'm joking, guys. No joke. You can actually go to Pornhub and see I do reviews over there also for the less than reputable. I shouldn't say that. Like, I'm just messing around. Real talk though. I go to Pornhub and I actually do reviews of comic books over there that have a lot of nudity in it, because they can't be done on YouTube. They'll just flag me, you know what I'm saying? So, anyway. Yeah, TNMT versus Batman is good. Sabah, how do you store all your comic books, Professor? I've got... Okay, Actually, I don't even know if I can take this thing off easily. Oh yeah, I can. Okay. I'm going to show you guys a really messy part of... if I can even get it over there. See, these are some of my boxes over there. I got to clean that up there. I got a whole bunch of crafts. But you see all my short boxes? I got a bunch of short boxes there. And I got some that I don't keep in this room. But I've got a lot of short boxes, and I keep them in there. All the themed short boxes. I was thinking about bringing it over to the fully plastic short boxes, but we'll see. We'll see what's up. Just, for the sake of conversation. Yeah, I don't know what the hell they did with Supergiant. Like, how come Supergiant's not in the freaking thing anymore? Was she just too powerful? That could be it. That could be it. Jeffrey Lane loves Doom Patrol because of me. Well, good, because the Doom Patrol is one of those, like, it's like a dirty secret. You know what I'm saying? I read, I don't know if you know what? I know for a fact I haven't read them all because a bunch have come out since, but I used to read a lot of musicians' autobiographies and regular old biographies. And unfortunately, the guys from Zeppelin never put out an autobiography, but there's a lot of biographies about them. A whole lot of people wrote about them, and I used to read them all. And I forget which one it was. I think it was Hammer of the Gods, but one of them, they talked about how Zeppelin, we tried to do the whole singles route, and we just got sick of it because our songs have to be listened to on the album. They should be listened to on the album. We're not interested in putting out singles and stuff like that. And he's like, we didn't even get too much radio airtime for a long time because we just, we were that band that all the other bands hated. Jimmy Page and John Paul Jones, especially Jimmy Page, the guitarist, the founder of the band, was actually session musicians. So whenever he talked about how, and actually a lot of other people talked about it also. You could read Rolling Stone magazine back in the day. They used to talk about how all these older, musicians back in the day used to come in to, play their songs in the studio to make their studio albums. They'd play their own live stuff, but when they came in for the studio albums, they'd be like, listen, you're not hitting all the things right, and if you make something just a little bit wrong, it comes in horribly on record, so I'm gonna give you guys a studio musician. And it was always Jimmy Page. So think about what's being said here. Jimmy Page, the guitarist from Led Zeppelin, can play your songs better than you can. Think about that. Jimmy Page himself talked, and because he usually doesn't like to talk about that era of his life, because that is one of the reasons why so many, big-time musicians hate him so much. Especially Eric Clapton. We're not going to get too far into that because he's very sensitive. But Jimmy talked about how the guys from the Kinks, the Kinks, girl, you really got me now, stuff like that. The Kinks used to come in to do their albums, and they used to get rid of everybody there so that Jimmy could do their songs. Yeah, pretty big deal. Which band was it? Was it Donovan? Shoot, I can't remember which band it was. Oh, Van Morrison. Van Morrison came in, and they literally replaced every single person on the album. They're like, listen, all of you guys just leave. We're just going to keep Van Morrison himself, the singer. Jimmy was like, they started systematically kicking everybody out. You know what I'm saying? Saying, listen, you want us to do your album, this is how you're going to do it. They were kicking everybody out except for freaking Van Morrison and it's just like, Jimmy was like, I thought they were actually going to kick out Van Morrison at one point. I'm like, dude, are you kidding me? That's crazy. So, yeah. Why was I talking about Led Zeppelin and all that stuff? The studio albums. That's what happens. I need to tie a little string around my finger and stuff like that. Anyhow, yeah. So Led Zeppelin is awesome. Okay, let's move on. Sorry, I went on a total tangent there, didn't I? Let's see. No, Jeffrey Lane and whoever else was talking one step too far. No, they did not shut down the Swamp Thing. They shut down post-production on the Swamp Thing early. Something that I heard they also did with Doom Patrol. I can't verify that, but I can verify they shut down post-production on Swamp Thing, which means towards the end or whatever, you're going to start seeing some really crappy scenes. I'll give you an example. shutting down post-production early means that the things that the director had in mind, sometimes directly from the writers or with cooperation, they wind up screwing over and making the show look silly. Not Friday's episode that just dropped yesterday, but the previous Friday's episode, episode number 11. What was that? Jane Patrol? No, that wasn't Jane Patrol. The one after Francis Patrol. For Francis Patrol, episode 8, I talked about it in detail in my review of Doom Patrol. There was a scene there. There were a couple scenes like this all throughout this episode, but there was specifically a couple scenes with Cyborg. He's digging into his arm. Now, he doesn't feel the pain, all right? But he's digging in his arm, and he's seeing cybernetics that he didn't think were there before. And he's looking at this stuff, and he's like, what the heck? So whenever they're showing his face digging into his arm, he's just going, what? Huh. Like that. And he's otherwise very quiet during the time. But when they do a close-up of his arm, when he's doing the digging, you keep on hearing somebody. It's not the actor who plays Cyborg. It's somebody else doing this really horrible rendition of, and it's like, dude, what the hell is this pre-orgasmic nasty-ass sound that I'm hearing? It was horrible. It was somebody. It was like the director or the producer or somebody was just like, yeah, just throw in some ooh ooh ow sounds in there really quick, all right? Because I'm shutting down post-production. That's the kind of nonsense that you get. So yeah, it was literally the only episode that I did not overly enjoy. It was still a good episode, but scenes like that just broke it for me, man. Wow. So let me see here. Champions has been really good. I hope Honey Badger and X-23 join the team. How's my Comic Quirk? Oh, that's Rippler Main. What's up, Rippler Main? Welcome to the channel. Comic Quirks. How is my boy Brendan Fraser in Doom Patrol? Dude's awesome. If you're not watching the show, you need to watch the show. Excuse me. Oh, guys, hey, just for the sake of conversation, listen, here's the deal. I just booted somebody out of my Facebook group recently because they talked about stealing comic books. They talked about illegally downloading or watching them online or reading them online, whatever. Look, I see that there are YouTube channels that actually all they do is they have a little bit of music in the background and they play the comic book. And I am disappointed that Facebook doesn't take them down. Like, I'm not here to start reporting other YouTubers because, but those channels should be taken down. They should be shut down, dead, banned. Those people should be fined. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just disgusting. How the hell do we do stuff like that? How do we claim to love? Like, this guy, whatever money he's making from that, he's making money off of comic books that essentially he's allowing other people to steal. Probably wind up stealing them himself. Not cool, man. Just not freaking cool. It's dirty. It's disgusting. And then there's this guy on my Facebook channel talking about how he's stealing comic books and whatnot. And it's like, and he's like, whatever, man, whatever. And his excuses were ridiculous. And I'm just like, dude, you know what? Blocked, like banned, booted from my freaking channel. He's not allowed to come back. I'm done with this guy. Like, I've never heard from this guy before ever. You know what I'm saying? And all of a sudden, today, I'm hearing from him. And I'm like, are you kidding me? He's bragging about stealing comic books online. No, I'm done. So listen, guys, listen. I'm sure there's some people who do it. May I make a suggestion? Shut up. Shut up about it. You know what I'm saying? I don't hear bank robbers walking in, stealing from banks and then walking out talking about, hey guys, I just stole from that bank. Hey cops, it was me. No, that's not cool. That's not cool. If you steal comic books, and make no mistake, you are stealing comic books. All right? There are people who write the comic books, draw the comic books. This is their living. And you think you're only stealing from Marvel. It's not true. When people are downloading or stealing comic books online, what's happening is the sales decrease. Nobody is trying to make comic books for free. We're talking about this on Free Comic Book Day, right? Nobody's trying to make comic books in general for free outside of Free Comic Book Day. So when you steal it, that's one of the reasons why that's one of the reasons why comic books that we love are canceling. That's what's happening. for the sake of conversation, people who are not watching my ads, you know what I'm saying? It's one of the reasons why Comic Book University may shut down one of these days, too. I know nobody wants to have somebody preaching at them. It's like, I do what I want because I do what I want. And when all of a sudden the stuff disappears, oh, you know, it's really messed up. They canceled that comic book. I swear to God, the people who brag about stealing comic books, and if you're one of them, here it comes. I would love to smack you right in the fucking face. I would like to just grab you by your freaking shirt and smack you in your face until you're unconscious. And then piss on you to wake you up and then smack you unconscious again. I expect to see the number of people watching going down a lot because there are a whole bunch of butthurt little wussies out there talking about, I steal comic books because... I don't care. I don't care. Now, make no mistake. Are there exceptions? Unfortunately, yes, there are. Unfortunately, yes, there are. There are some places where comic books do not reach into certain countries. After I just said all of that stuff, here comes a terrible admission on my part. I myself have illegally downloaded comic books. I don't know if they still... I'm sure they still exist, but whatever. What do I know? When I was in Saudi Arabia, we didn't get comic books coming in. So there were a couple of times that I illegally downloaded them. Did I know that they were illegal? Not really. Unfortunately, not really. And I didn't bother to think about it. This was just me being, literally just being stupid about it. I did not think about them. I didn't. I'm just like, you know, people are sitting here telling me, oh, dude, yeah, we don't get movies coming in. Because at the time, there were no movie theaters in Saudi Arabia. No movie theaters in Saudi Arabia. So I used to illegally watch movies also. I know that we like to think it doesn't matter, but this is literally like somebody walking outside and dumping their garbage can on the ground, talking about, yeah, I'm barely contributing to climate change or climate change. I said climate change? I'm pronouncing it how I see it spelled. Contributing to climate change and pollution, but, you know, the big companies do it worse, so I'm just one guy, so who cares? When I lived in New Mexico, yeah, I used to live in New Mexico, there were people who used to go around and burn their freaking stuff, man. They used to steal their, you know, they used to burn their garbage. Look, man, I'm going to say something even meaner right now. The comic skaters like Richard Meyer and Yellow Flash, people who I think are absolutely pathetic freaking Howard Stern wannabe a-holes, are actually better than a lot of the people who steal the comic books online, because at least they're buying their comic books before they rip them. So like that, just think about that. Think about what that affects. When all of a sudden a comic book goes dead, when a comic book's just like, you know, think about all the comic books that, you know, like I know Kelly Thompson, not personally, but, you know, I talk to her once in a while. She's a wonderful, wonderful human being. And I know her, she was really upset that West Coast Avengers went down. She was actually really bothered by that. She was like, you know, like it was only through typing. I don't talk to her, you know, personally. I don't know what her voice sounds like or anything like that. But like, you know, just talking to her, you know, texting and whatnot, not texting, tweeting. Yeah, she was actually really bothered that West Coast Avengers went down. There are actually people who go around and they just straight up steal the comic books. And, you know, they're like, oh, I love this comic book. It's a good comic book, blah, 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 blah. You get a whole lot of love on Twitter for the comic book. But people are reading the comic books, but they're not paying for the comic books. Guys, like I said, I hate the idea of having to preach to people. But I'm telling you, as well as I'm telling myself, this has to stop. This straight up has to stop. If you live in a country where you don't get the comic books coming in, okay, at least don't brag about it. At least don't brag. Because I get it. You're going to want to read your comic books. I wanted to read my comic books also. I did it myself. I was there for 5 years. For 3 years, I stole comic books before I'm just like, holy crap, you know, now I think about it. And that was around the time that the New 52 came out. I was like, you know what? I need to just stop this because this is stupid. This is so stupid. Like I'm realizing what I'm doing here, and I'm only contributing to it. And the more people who are downloading the comic books, the more of a market there is for it. Because guess what? Those people are getting paid for stealing comic books and delivering to you for free. So these people, the thieves, are getting paid. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's getting paid, except for the people actually making the comic book. I'm sorry. As a guy who strongly supports unions as the only organization that actually helps people, helps workers, okay? And this is a big deal for me. Look, I'm not a socialist. I believe in capitalism. But I desperately believe in socialistic safeguards to protect us from capitalism, which can get evil. Socialism can get evil. Capitalism can get evil. Anything by itself can get effing evil, all right? I believe that we should have free health care. There are countries that don't pay nearly as much as America in taxes. I'm going to give you an example. Canada. Canada does not pay as much as America in health, what do you call it? In taxes. So federal taxes, guess what? In Canada, I pay half as much as I did in America for federal taxes. I want you to stop and think about that. Your average person pays, on average, 26% taxes in America. Here in Canada, I pay 13% taxes. Yeah. People like Sue-Ann McGinnis out there are just like, oh, yeah, wow, I didn't realize Americans pay that much in taxes. Poor Americans. And yet in Canada, we get health care. I have health care. I have a health card. If I get sick, I don't have to sit there and say, well, it doesn't seem that bad. I can be like, I'm going to the hospital, I'm going to the doctor, I'm going to wherever. And no, there are not ridiculously long lines. In fact, I find that there are more doctors, more private clinics. And yes, there are private clinics that I can use my health card there for also. I'm just saying, the quality of health care is as good in America. But it's better in one way. You know how? It's more accessible. It's more accessible. Oh, and wait a second, hold on. It's not actually putting anybody out of business either. Because here's the thing. By having free health care in Canada, we actually don't have, in the province of Toronto at least, and I imagine everybody else, province of, not Toronto, Ontario, the city of Toronto. But anyway, we don't have vision care. So if there's if you have a good job that provides insurance, that insurance company can say, hey man, check it out. Here's free vision care if you work for us. You know what I'm saying? We get dental up to a certain point. If you want to have, look, they could even do medical care because we get it so that if we get admitted to the hospital for whatever reason, pregnancy or whatever, you share a room with somebody else. Check this out though. Maybe you've got a really good, like my wife has got really good insurance so that she can add on to the standard insurance that we all have here in Canada. And then she can say, listen, here's my regular health card, for the country, but here's my private health card also, and I get a private room with that. Yeah, so even healthcare companies don't have to go out of business. They simply offer something different instead. That's not charging extra. In fact, they're actually saving money, and it's very lucrative because I'm just like, yeah. Do we deal in maple syrup? I love you. I just see that on the side. I'm like, are you kidding me? Anyway, so much like that. I'm going on a huge tangent. Listen, we need to stop contributing to the theft of comic books and movies and whatever because we are adding to it. We are, and it's just facts. You know what I'm saying? Likewise, make sure that you frickin' check out my ads. If there's an ad, please follow the ad all the way through. Just walk away from it if you have to. Please watch the entire ad. And if for some reason you don't want to watch the ad, maybe you'd like a nice new T-shirt or sweatshirt or a hat from Beautiful Halo. At the very top of this commentary link, and I'm also going to put it in the comment link below when this thing goes, to regular air, when it's not live anymore. You can go and check out Beautiful Halo, and then boom shakalaka, you get yourself all sorts of hooked up with a very cheap, like when you click through with my link, you get a very cheap shirt or whatever it is that you're looking for, comic book themed. Or you can get, non-comic book themed, and boom shakalaka, you got yourself an awesome discount. And Comic Book University actually gets paid for it. No joke, I actually get paid for it, and they take care of us. So, you guys might notice that for episode, podcast number 114, there's a picture of the military there. What's up with that? It was just revealed that Marvel, the MCU, being totally freaking awesome as they are, they went and sent Endgame overseas to our troops, American troops, in Afghanistan. Way to go, Marvel. Way to go, Marvel. And yes, that means it's free. They get to watch it for free. That is freaking awesome. That is really freaking awesome. So yes. Okay, Comic Quirks. I'll be happy to answer that. So Comic Quirk says, my mother works in the cancer research department. She says, with free health care, she wouldn't have the research funds as they would because the U.S. charges what they do. We are the #1 healthcare provider in the world. Okay. I'm going to try and make sense of what this. I know you were trying to fit it in and whatnot. Here's the deal. 100% wrong. And I'm going to explain to you how. We have a lot of problems in America. A whole lot of problems, especially around healthcare. Besides the fact that we pay a lot in taxes and we quite literally get jack crap for all of that we pay and the expenses over there. Okay, Corey Irwin, I get the very distinct feeling you're about to get booted pretty soon. We've got 2 admins, 2 moderators in this channel, and you're about to get booted for spam. I'm positive of that. So they could choose to ignore it, they could choose to time you out, they could choose to ban you. And I leave it in their hands because I trust them. So please stop the spam. I like your input, but that looks like a lot of spam to me. Anyway, really quick, the healthcare situation. One of the big problems that we have is that the the government is not allowed, as it stands, the government is not allowed to negotiate with healthcare providers, with healthcare providers, with the insurance companies. So think about this deal. Imagine I am a big time contractor for comic books, and I say, hey, listen, man, check this out. I'm going to sell all these comic book stores my comic books, but I'm going to sell them at this price. So another guy comes along and says, well, I'm going to do stuff also. Well, here's the problem. I've got the contract with you. These guys are selling comic books on the side, but I'm blocking them out. You're not allowed to deal with them because I'm the main guy. In fact, the only way that you're allowed to sell your comic books to this comic book store is if you deal with me. I'm going to be a middleman right now, so you got to deal with me. And whatever price you want, I'm going to get a higher price for that. I'm going to charge more because I got to make money off of allowing you to do it. This is like the mafia. More than that, somebody else comes along and says, yeah, we want to do such and such. And we say, okay, listen, comic book store, we don't have any contract with you, so here's what's going to happen. If you decide to work with those guys and get their comic books, that's fine. But they don't have as many comic books as us. So if you work with them, you're not going to work with us anymore. We're going to blacklist you. And even if when you realize that those guys aren't as good, we're going to say F you and we're out. We're going to ban you for 10 years or something like that. We're not going to deal with you. Okay? When they have these contracts and whatnot with these individual healthcare providers, they somehow have it in their deal that the government cannot negotiate for cheaper prices. They cannot negotiate with other companies for cheaper prices. This is one of the reasons why somebody could come along and say, oh, I just bought this company that has this life-saving medication that's for only $7. I'm going to increase the price to $1,000, and there's not a goddamn thing anybody can do about it. We also allow the patents to work in a certain way so that, you can't bypass them and whatnot for 7 years because of so-called intellectual property. There's way too many problems with that. Look, I hear the whole thing with the #1 in the world, but let's be realistic for a second. How positive are we that it's really #1 in the world? Because at the end of the day, and look, former soldier, 6-year U.S. Army infantry soldier, and I'm telling you right now, America is #1 in warfare. I can't think of another thing that we're #1 in. We've got all these corrupt politicians going around and they're freaking destroying health care for us. They're making us, but we pay twice as much. And by we, I mean the government. The government pays twice as much for health care in America as we pay here in Canada. How disgusting is that? The citizens pay half as much in taxes as American citizens pay. You don't get even half as much. So, this is just immigration, #1 in that too. I don't know which direction you're talking about in that regard, but, dude, we're hurting. I know it's not comic book talk, but we're hurting in the States. You got people like Betsy DeVos coming in and they're gutting the freaking education system because she's trying to make it easier for people like her friends and herself who actually have a lot of charter schools. That means private schools. So you keep on defunding all of these public schools, and the schools eventually start failing, and they start failing worse and worse and worse. They're not paying teachers are striking, for crying out loud. And what do? We turn around and we attack the teachers and say, well, these teachers are going on strike because they want more money. They should get more money. Teachers should get more money. Does anybody disagree with that? Because that's repugnant that we would say otherwise. Teachers deserve more money. I say this as an educator. Listen, the whole entire system is 100% completely rigged against us. Everything is rigged against us. America is starting to become what feels to me like a damn failed experiment, and it's disgusting. Healthcare is ridiculous. Yes, teachers deserve more. Nurses deserve more. Employees deserve more. Employees deserve more. Wages have been stagnant since the 1970s. Since the 1970s, inflation keeps rising, but standard of living doesn't go up. Why do you think, it's funny, a lot of millennials today and the next generation feel like failures, and they're not. But why do they feel that way? Because the cost of college keeps on skyrocketing. The price of healthcare, skyrocketing. The price of this, that, the other thing, everything, skyrocketing. But wages are stagnating. Oh, we've got more jobs, we've got more jobs, we've got more jobs. First off, they're crap jobs that pay minimum wage, and a lot of them are part-time. They don't offer benefits. People are working 2 or 3 part-time jobs just to keep up with the bills and keep their crappy rent, their crappy apartment with the skyrocketing rent also. Why do you think it is that nobody can afford houses anymore on average? If you want a house, you got to hope that a family member dies and gives it to you, because you can't afford them anymore. And now they're even talking about going into gutting our freaking, our Social Security and stuff like that. I fully expect that by the time I retire, I'm not going to get my Social Security from the States. And I put in a lot into it. I'm just saying, I put in a lot into it. And it's disgusting. And look, at the end of the day, we've got to stop. We've got to stop with the patriotism. Because we call it patriotism, but it's not. It's nationalism. And I want you to look up the difference, if you don't know, the difference between patriotism and nationalism. Because I'm a patriot. A patriot fights to make their country better. A nationalist says, we're number one. We're number one. Actually, you're number 28. No, we're number one. No. Right now, one of the worst places in the world to be a citizen is in the States. It's one of the reasons why there's two separate classes in America, the rich and the poor. And the rich is getting smaller and smaller. How many of us can actually afford to get good food at a place like Whole Foods? How many of us instead are shopping at Walmart, doing our grocery shopping in Walmart? How many people have gotten sick off of the produce? Just minor food poisoning because they don't wash their food, and it stays in there for long enough that it actually starts to seep into the stems, and just the surface washing isn't good enough. Dude, I'm just saying, it's a bit much. It's a bit much. So anyway, I hear you. I hear you, but we've got a lot of problems in the States. A whole lot of problems. I'm kind of glad in many ways that I don't live there anymore, because I wouldn't have what I have if I were still living in the States. Anyway, that being said, let's try and pull this back into comic books a little bit. What do we got here? She's one of the best martial arts in comic book continuity. Who are you talking about? Lady Shiva? Because I agree. Who's pretty underrated? Who are we talking about? Who are we talking about? Let's look up and see. Struggle out here in the States. Bills. Oh, crap. I just turned it into that. It's all right. It is what it is. Bills are skyrocketing high. Utilities are never ending. And you got Wi-Fi cable. Excuse me. Yeah, and they're still trying to freaking destroy the internet. They're still trying to destroy the freaking internet. Why? Because the news sources... Sorry, back into this again for a minute. The news stations are all bought and paid for. The news stations, all the news stations, Fox, CNN, MSNBC, these are the 3 24-hour news stations on regular TV. They have a policy. If you buy ad space during our commercial time, we will never insult you or investigate you or say a bad word about you. So that's one of the reasons why you see commercials for, Lockheed Martin, Boeing, and things like that. Who the hell who watches the news is in the market for a plane? Who's in the market for a plane? No, you just don't want those people. Those people just don't want to be investigated. So they put up a stupid commercial, and boom, there you go. We're golden. Remember the days when Viagra used to be advertised on stuff like that? I mean, So, yes, they're making a Robbie Reyes TV show. I'm very disappointed in that show, though. I'm going to watch it, of course. It's actually got Gabriel Luna in it. But it's actually not going to tie in, according to what I'd read, it's not going to tie into the Agents of S.h.i.e.L.D. show, which means they're going to reboot it from the beginning. What? Well, but, no! That's not fair. That's not fair. Anyway, it's going to be on Hulu. I think we're going to see a lot more stuff on Hulu. Because now that the Marvel and Fox deal is done, Marvel owns, I think, 90% of Hulu at this point. So they are the majority shareholder by a lot. So, yeah. Shang-Chi is beside the point. My issue with Mantis. Yeah, Mantis. Yes, Mantis is a premier martial artist. That's what you guys were talking about. It's funny because the UKNO news station has reported Prince William cheating, but it's all over the internet. That's actually the reason why I was talking about what I was talking. When you block the TV from making fun of people or saying, hey, look, these guys are doing bad things. The government's robbing you. The internet is not thus blocked. So anybody like me, any old Joe Blow can get up and start telling you what's really going on. You can have the conspiracy theories also. You're going to have to find the people who aren't just blowing smoke up your butt. But, yeah, you can actually find the truth coming in from multiple sources. Martial arts are a pretty important facet of Mantis's character development. You know what I think is interesting? Characters like Batman still feel like great martial artists, even though they're not focusing on traditional martial arts anymore. Because, look, I grew up in the traditional martial arts. I'm going to give you guys a bit of a background on me. When I was 8 years old, I first started studying Togokoro Ninjutsu-Ryu. That's right, I am technically a ninja. Now, being as tall as I am a crap ninja. Okay, I can't hide very well. I know places to hide. I know the theory of hiding. But, I can't fit into these small places like other people do. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, what do you call it? Yeah, and shadowing. I can't shadow somebody to save my life. I'm too damn tall. You see me in a crowd. No problem. I can't go incognito. I can't go gray man. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, I studied Togokoro style ninjutsu-ryu. This is when I was in Ohio. Then I came back to Jersey and I studied Bushido-kai, which is the unarmed samurai hand-to-hand style. It's not too different from Aikido. Then I also studied Shotokan karate, and then I studied U.S. Black Cat Kempo. Under Art Bynes, he was actually really famous for a while. He was on TV, especially in Jersey, but he was really famous back then. And I actually studied under his second best student. I did really good, guys. I still like Mike. Anyway, So I studied all these traditional martial arts, and I also took some Taekwondo before I realized I don't like Taekwondo. A guy who's 6'5" does not need to learn how to kick somebody who's 6'5" in the head. That just doesn't make sense. Anyway, so I studied some serious traditional Japanese martial arts, Taekwondo aside. That's Korean. Going up against a guy who knows MMA, I rely a lot on my ninjutsu, like a whole lot, because I used to be considered a hybrid fighter back in the day, before MMA became a big deal. When I was a kid, I was considered a hybrid fighter. One of the things I was best at doing was fighting. Like everybody in high school knew, you want to wrestle Bill, Bill's going to beat you. I used to be able to beat the guys on the wrestling team because I played dirty, but at the end of the day, I loved grabbing people and throwing them for a judo flip and just, bundling them into a pretzel and slamming them hard on their back on the ground. and get right back up. You know what I'm saying? I know combat roles, all that good stuff. I loved the martial arts, and I was really good at it. Nowadays, MMA is a huge thing. Not just BJJ, no, all of it. MMA is a huge deal. And it's also down, it's also dirty, and it's much more hybrid than what I do, than what I've ever done. And these guys are scary. The guys who were big time into, a guy with 5 years of MMA, I would be very nervous getting into a ring with this guy or getting into a sparring match with this guy, because like, holy crap. So yeah, I do my best, but nowadays I just blame it on being old. Like, oh no, I'm too old for this nonsense right now, man. But what do you call it? Yeah, so this traditional martial arts stuff, it just, no, for the most part, it's becoming quickly irrelevant. You know what I'm saying? So I think in the comic books we need to see less of the traditional martial artists and a lot more like the Bruce Lee styles of fighting and stuff like that. They're extremely outdated at this point. There's a guy who's just going to come in like this and just, bow, 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 take you down, drop you to the ground, and ground and pound you. And the traditional martial arts are like, I don't know what happened. I have no idea what happened. People used to think that, dude, I grew up in fairly rough neighborhoods. And I remember, like, the funniest part was, and a bunch of the older black guys can attest to this, when Black Belt Theater came out, when Kung Fu Theater used to come on, dude, that was it. You know what I'm saying? And if you even said you knew karate, people didn't want to mess with you, because we used to watch Kung Fu Theater. And we know you don't mess with somebody's gonna pull out Dim Mak on you and be like, pow, you know what I'm saying? And like puncture holes in your chest and all that stuff and like, kill you. So you even said you were into the martial arts. People got freaking, freaked out and whatnot, But oh, Silver Surfer, I wish that were still the case, man. Because then my martial arts would still be relevant. But what do you call it? These guys, man, like, this is the deal that's big nowadays, the MMA. So I think we need to see more MMA type martial artists. You know what I'm saying? More mixed martial artists out there. The Shaw Brothers movies, dude. I will sit down. I remember I was sitting down to watch was it the 36 Chambers of Kung Fu, right? Or was it 34? I forget. Sat down to watch it. I was on Netflix. My wife comes over. She's like, "Oh, I'm gonna have to leave the room." I was like, "Why are you leaving the room?" She's like, "This was like 5-6 months ago, 8 months ago, something like that." She's like, "Oh yeah, man. I remember you used to have the DVD back when we were in Jersey." I'm like, "Yes, and it's a really good. And now it's on Netflix. I'm gonna watch it now." And she's like, "Yeah, I didn't want to watch it then. I don't want to watch it now." I was like, "Man, sit your ass down and watch this with me." She's like, so she sat down. We're sitting down. We're chilling out. We start doing the whole cuddle thing, and what do you call it? After it's over, she's like, "All right, fine. I admit it was good." I think it was like the next day. I was like, "Listen, we're gonna watch this in Five Deadly Venoms." She's like, "What?" I was like, "We're gonna watch some Five Deadly Venoms." She's like, "Babe, I liked your Chambers of Kung Fu thing. I don't want to watch this also." Excuse me. I'm like, "Just trust me on this one. This was the first one the Shaw Brothers ever did. It is awesome." Fine. She loved it. I'm saying, man. Like, these guys, they have some great stories in these things. You know what I'm saying? Shaw Brothers was it. That was the deal, I love how May the 4th we're talking about. Oh, jeez. Should we talk about Star Wars? Should we talk about a little bit of Star Wars? I lost my lightsaber for Kylo Ren. I lost my, because I've got my Kylo Ren figure. I think he's around here somewhere. Anyway. Oh, crap. Now I can't even find. Great. Okay, I lost my Kylo Ren. I got one of the 6-inch Kylo Ren figures. Ooh, just yesterday it came in the mail. I got my General Hux. So that was fun. I got my General Hux in. It was nice and cheap. Oh, yes. R.I.P. Peter Mayhew. I think it was my This Week in Comics. No, excuse me. I think it was my On the Horizon video that I did for the month. It's all the previews for the July solicits. I what do you call it? I talked about how I met Peter Mayhew, the first person I met when I walked into Philly Comic Con back in 2011. Great guy, really great guy. Oh wow, I didn't realize that Shang-Chi debuted the year that. Oh, the year. Yes, I thought you were saying the day. Yes, the year that Bruce Lee died. Um, let's see. You know what's really freaky about that, Silva? When I was a kid, I was watching Bruce Lee movies with my dad. Oh, my dad just died last Sunday. Yeah, that's messed up. Here, there's something else to talk about. What do you call it? I remember that I was sitting down with my dad watching some Bruce Lee. I think it was the Chinese Connection. It was the Chinese Connection. Really great story. Freaking awesome story, right? Like, there was a serious story there. And yes, sorry, there's going to be a bunch of people pissed off at me right now, but I'm one of the people who actually like the Jet Li version better than, Fists of Legend, better than Chinese Connection. I know, going to be a whole bunch of people, probably Silver Surfer also pissed off at me, but it was like Jet Li was just, that was the best thing Jet Li's ever done. And it was really good. It was a great freaking moment. It was a great movie. So I'm sitting there watching that, and my dad's like, yeah, Bruce Lee's dead. I was like, whoa, hold on. You just got finished telling me that Elvis is dead, and now you're also going to tell me that Bruce Lee is dead? What the frig? This was like, 73, and I was born in 75. So, like, this is, this is very early 80s, like 80 or 81. Like, Reagan just became the president. Yes, I was actually into politics back then. Can you tell? And at 5 years old, I was into politics. You might think I'm joking, but I'm serious. What do you call it? What happens? So he's sitting there telling me, yeah, you know how Bruce Lee died? I'm like, no, how? He's like, in that scene at the end of this movie, and he didn't know what the hell he was talking about. He says, they shot a gun at him, but it was supposed to be a blank, and I didn't know what a blank was at the time. He had to explain it to me. I get into the military, all of a sudden, I can tell the difference between a freaking blank and a real bullet and a heartbeat. I mean, Jesus Christ, like, how do you make that mistake? But anyway, they meant to shoot a blank at him, and it turns out one of the bullets was real. So I believe that was the way he died for the longest time. Turns out that wasn't the way he died. But then all of a sudden, when The Crow comes out, it turns out that is the way that his son Brandon Lee died. What? Like, that was crazy, and I couldn't believe it. I'm like, what the hell am I hearing right now? So, yeah, man. Yeah, he died on the set of The Crow, and it was one of the greatest movies in the world. Bruh, I'm not lying to you. I might finish this up. My wife made some dinner. I just did some shopping today, and I bought some nice romaine lettuce, washed the hell out of it, made a nice little garden salad out of it, you know what I'm saying, and killed that. And I went and took a nap before coming to here, and didn't help a lot because the kids were awake, is what it is. Anyway, so my wife made some nice rice, right? So I go out. So I'm getting ready to go out after this podcast is over. I'm getting ready to go out and have some rice and whatever the hell else she made with it. I'm going to sit down. I'm going to probably watch The Crow and read the rest of my, these are the rest of my Marvel and DC comics. I'm going to, I read the first half of Prisoner X. Anyway, but I'm probably going to be watching The Crow because, god damn, I love that movie. I can watch that anytime I want. But yeah, right here, I'm going to be reading the second half of Prisoner X. This is from Age of X-Men. I actually really like it. Vita Italia is amazing, and what do you call it? The art inside is freaking amazing too. That's German Peralta. But I'm going to be reading Harley Quinn 61. I'm going to be reading Marvel Team Up, Spider-Man and Miss Marvel, issue number 2. High hopes for this issue. Meet the Skrulls, issue number 4 of 5. Try and get rid of that glare for you. Sorry, the monitor is glary. I didn't read Punisher number 11 yet. I'm very disappointed at myself. I'm going to read that. The War in Bagalia continues. And Adventures of Super Sons, issue number 10, which I'm not feeling like I used to, but we'll see. Do I prefer Crow Sting or Surfer Sting's music? Nah, I'm just going to go with Crow Sting all the way. Crow Sting all the way. And then let me show you the rest of the comic books that I got. I can't show you the cover for... I kind of can. It's a nudie cover, but Danger Doll, Amalgama Lives. So I'm going to be reviewing that on Pornhub later on in the week. So there's that. And then, I got Descendant, issue number 1 I'm going to be reading and reviewing. I got, this is all the non-Marvel, non-DC. I got Dragon's Blood, issue 1 from Zenoscope. I got Gogor from Image. I've got that Red Sonja, issue number 4 of 5. What's up with that? I got Terry Moore's 5 Years. I'm going to read that one. And, Fallen World, issue number 1, featuring Rye and Bloodshot. And then, this should be a fun one, Antarctic Press, Trump's Space Force, one shot. And this is a thick book, too. I'm going to try and get to that one if I can. Anyway, so yeah, those are all the comic books that I still have yet to review this week. I haven't read them yet. I got to start reading like crazy tonight. And I'm driving out to London, Ontario tomorrow, where some of you guys are going to be kind of bothered to hear this. This is actually 2 hours west of where I'm at in Mississauga right now. And by being 2 hours out west, if I can't find a comic book store out there who likes me enough to let me film there, I don't think I'm going to be doing This Week in Comics anymore at Gotham Central, because I am not driving 2 hours east into the freaking, into Mississauga on the freaking QEW, Queens Expressway. I'm not driving 2 hours on the Queens Expressway to do a freaking comic book show. That's just not happening. So This Week in Comics will probably not be live anymore if I do move out there. But it's a smaller city, and I don't like the big cities. They're okay to visit, but I prefer that one. I prefer smaller cities, and it's a lot more woodsy, a lot more outdoorsy, so I can actually move out there and just freaking straight up chill, man. So I think I'm going to enjoy that one a whole lot more. Anybody reading Buffy? I'm not. Hey, Derek Pierce showed up. What's up, dude? He literally was poisoned, whether on accident or on purpose, is the debate. Yeah, a lot of people saying it was dim mak, because not a whole lot of people are dissuaded from the argument that he was actually poisoned. And it's a good chance that he was. It could have also just been complications from when he had his back broken, because, I mean, like, here's this dude who just out of freaking nowhere gets up from traction, and then he's just as good as he was before. That's crazy, man. That doesn't happen, but Bruce Lee is, above human. What else was I thinking? About him being poisoned. Anyway, one of the things I was thinking about is think about like Eddie Guerrero, and just rest in peace to one of the absolute hands down greatest freaking wrestlers ever. You know what? Oh, got him up here, baby. He's right in front. Orale la viva la raza. Actually, that was Conan who used to say that, but viva la raza, mamacita. Yeah, freaking Eddie, man. Eddie. Eddie was my favorite wrestler at the time. Eddie Guerrero came out of nowhere, and I was like, ain't nobody going to be like freaking Hulk Hogan. I liked, Steve Austin for what he was, but like, The Rock was always amazing. I liked a bunch of people out there, but Eddie Guerrero was just something else. When Eddie died, what happened? Man, this was a killer, man, because I remember the episode where they showed that Eddie died. I'm like, I'm sorry, what now? Freaking Eddie died because he used to be an alcoholic, a heavy alcoholic. He used to do drugs also, all these things, because, he's on painkillers like most wrestlers unfortunately are. Unions for wrestlers. I've been saying that, not as long as Jesse Ventura's been saying it for, but the second that I heard Jesse Ventura saying that, I agreed. Unions for wrestlers. I see Chillmonger saying it. Yes, enlarged heart. More specifically, in more detail, because I don't have to type it all, and I hate typing. Eddie Guerrero used to be an alcoholic for a really long time. He cut it. He got the monkey off his back. He was fully healthy. The problem is he wound up doing a lot of damage over that time to the lining around his heart, the mucous membrane around his heart. His heart was enlarged. So him constantly going out there, adrenaline flying like crazy, taking all those bumps like he takes. He wasn't feeling great when he laid down, and he didn't wake up. Not too dissimilar from Rowdy Roddy Piper, and Piper was prophetic about it. He was like, I'm not going to live to be old age. You know the kind of damage that we do to our bodies. Do you realize the kind of things that we do to our bodies on a daily basis? You know what I'm saying? Nobody works the days and the hours that we work, and plus the traveling time. He's like, nah. So what do you call it? See you later, Silva. So Roddy was prophetic, but and that was sad also. There's a lot of really sad, tragic freaking stories with this. But like when Eddie died, like that was a big deal. That was a huge deal. Freaking Ed Peter Mayhew. Agreed. With Eddie, the day after he died, I went to a store and I bought a bunch of things. And I know I was good friends with one of the guys there, Ian. He came walking over to me. He was working. He was a supervisor in the store, and he saw me in line. He came walking over. He's like, "Dude, Eddie." I was like, "Don't." Like that freaking killed me. Like I was like, "Dude, there's no way." So we're sitting there talking about, all the great things that he's done and what an incredible human being he was and all the people he's helped and everything like that. This guy, he was amazing, And then what happens? This woman in line, this slightly old, she was older than me. I hope that she's dead having been hit by a car at this point. Anybody who's pissed off that I just said that, wait and hear what she said. She's basically a Nancy Grace. Go and look up that walking creature feature. We weren't talking to her. We were just talking around her. We weren't even talking about her. You know what I'm saying? We're just talking. And we're like, sorry, who are you guys talking about? So like, there's a wrestler, a really famous, great wrestler. His name was Eddie Guerrero. And we're like, oh, wrestler. Steroids. And then she just gives one of those looks, and she turns around. Ian and I are looking at each other like, what the hell just happened? She just sideswiped us. That's like a hit and run. The problem is, I was faster. Ian couldn't say anything because he's working. But, yeah, he gave me some praise afterwards. Because I was like, hold on, you disgusting, wretched wreck of a human being. You miserable, you craggy old... Like, I just laid into her. I must have given, 30 insults before I even said anything of substance. I was like, we're not even talking to you, and you interrupt our conversation. We're clearly upset about what was going on, about, something that happened, and you just want to come in and piss all over? You know what? I wish that Eddie Guerrero's wife were in here right now so Vicky could just straight cold clock you and knock you on the ground, and you deserve it. And I would walk over top of you and probably accidentally kick you as we're walking. You are disgusting, and I swear to God, I hope that something happens to one of your kids. I straight hope something terrible happens to one of your kids so that I could spit on the hospital floor as you're in there hoping that they come out of critical condition. We're clearly distraught by this, and you come in here with that nonsense? First off, what are steroids for? Steroids are for healing. And if your kid ever does get into an accident and has some tissue damage, some muscle damage, guess what the doctor's going to prescribe so that your kid can get better? Steroids. So I guess your kid deserves to die if that happens. Right? You miserable, cracky old... I was so mad at her. And I'm like, and two, Eddie Guerrero wasn't on steroids. Proven fact. You want to know how? If you had a brain in your head somewhere behind those disgusting, crackly old wrinkly eyes of yours, you would know that Eddie wasn't big enough to have been on steroids. Eddie was a monster in a land of giants. Eddie was a guy who could jump and flip off the ropes. You can't do that when you're huge. Eddie wasn't a big guy. Nobody in the industry believes that Eddie Guerrero was on freaking steroids. So you know what? You can shut your freaking mouth, go stick your head in a goddamn garbage dumpster, and just go freaking die. Die so that we don't have to hear... I swear to God, I wish that there was someone around here, a female fan who loved Eddie as much as we do, who could just knock you the hell out. You are stupid. And I really hope you get hit by a car on the way out. Unbelievable. For someone to actually say something like that. My God. Go to his funeral and say that. Please, go to his funeral and say something like that. What an absolutely disgusting freaking... Give her some good power bombs. I don't usually like to wish violence on people. her, nah, man. There ain't a bus going fast enough or big enough to freaking take her down. God, like, I would want it to hurt for a really, really, really long time. Wow, just disgusting. Like, I'm still pissed off over it. That's something I still hold with me to this day. What a disgusting freaking creature that was. Not even human as far as I'm concerned. But anyway, this is a hell of a podcast. Did we even talk about freaking... And then hit Eddie's Frog Splash. Hells to the yes. You know what would be cool? You know what would be cool? Is if Sasha Banks were in line with us. Oh wow, I like Iron Man. I like Iron Man for hopefully the day Robert Downey Jr. dies is far, far into the future. Yeah, right. I guess we all got to go. Yeah, I'm not even. Yeah, I'm not a huge. Well, see, it's a thing. I love Iron Man. Not a huge fan of Tony Stark. I love hating him because that's how he was created to be. He was made for us to love to hate. But that being said, oh no, hold on. People were disrespectful when David Bowie died. You know, I was in Dammam, Saudi Arabia when David Bowie died. So fortunately, I never had to hear somebody say something stupid like that. But wow, yeah, I'd have been pretty annoyed at that too. Yeah, you know, like people are just wrong, man. People are just wrong. You love hating Batman, Swan. Lewis Versatility. What do you think is going to happen in Phase 4 for the MCU? They already said that they're going to go with the cosmic route. So I'm hoping they don't choose to introduce the X-Men at all in this Phase 4. I hope they wait until at least Phase 5. And then if they're going to introduce the Fantastic Four, which I think they could, and they could do it well, I hope that they wait until they're like midway through or more than midway through. They're planning on doing the Eternals still. I think it's going to be awesome. So yeah, boom, let's do that one. Professor, you already know I'm the biggest Tony Stark fan. I know, and it's all cool. That's all cool. I ain't got no problems with that. You scored Hope #1, and the writer signed it. Oh, that was you on freaking Facebook. Yeah, we hate you. like my buddy Lewis from Geek Fortress said. I'm not jealous at all with the temper tantrum thing. That's awesome, dude. That's actually really awesome. Robert Downey Jr. is in good health. He's in good health. Oh, and he does Win Chung. I got a funny story about Win Chung. He did, however, do a lot of damage to himself, you know, when he was younger. So there's that. Cuts ears off. The substance abuse he went through. Yeah, because he did go through a lot of substance abuse. That's actually what I was just about to say. John Krasinski, Jim from The Office, plays Mr. Fantastic. You saw Endgame last night. Nice. It was amazing. In my opinion, still better than Infinity Wars. Yeah, it was really good. Post a picture as soon as I get home. Nice. Yeah, please do that. I'd love to see that. Tony Stark being some dumb stuff smart man. he is a dumb smart man. Anyway, so I had a wife previous to my wife. I'm divorced from my first wife. My first wife was actually from Bangladesh, and our first daughter, I wanted to name her Win Chung. The fact that I'm saying her name means that we didn't name her Win Chung. I wanted her to be named Win Chung because it is a ridiculously strong female name. It is a great name. And if you're not familiar, Win Chung is actually a woman who studied Wushu Kung Fu. And she was okay at it. The problem is she's a woman. And Wing Chun is a Kung Fu style China made for men. And as a woman, shorter, not as strong, and with boobs, so she can't stand the same way, she modified the style enough that they actually named it Wing Chun Kung Fu, the Wing Chun branch of Wushu. So she was effing amazing. And she was able to take down guys. I sparred with a girl who knew Wing Chun. She only studied for about a year, so she wasn't great, you know, but it is a very cool style, you know, even with someone who only studied for a year, and she was good. You know, she asked for additional training, and I did, but it was hard. Like, there's only but so much I could do because I always studied the very rough, you know, punch you in the face. Like, Like, I can still punch with my right hand. I conditioned my right hand. I don't know if you could tell the difference between my hands, my knuckles on here, but like my right hand is here. My right hand is much stronger than my left hand. It was a very, I always called it break knuckle. Go figure. I actually did break the knuckle on, or not the knuckle, the metacarpal on my pinky of my left hand twice. I broke it twice from punching. Once a wall. Another person was someone who remained nameless. But I will say I did not start the fight, and it was in Saudi Arabia. What do you call it? So anyway, the racism exists all over the world, baby. Exists all over the world. But what do you call it? This this one was amazing. And so when I taught this other girl, she what do you call it? I can only teach her so much because she was studying a very beautiful fluidic style. Mine was very walk up to you and start hitting fast and hard. So I just taught her different ways to throw a punch because they're used to open-handed strikes, which is good. It saves the hand better unless you know how to actually close your fist. So anyway, be happy Free Comic Book Day to you too, bud. What happened? I like you because you keep it real. Thank you, Comic Works. What have you now? Anyway, so I wanted to name my firstborn, my daughter, Win Chung. And my Bangladeshi wife was like, we're not Chinese. Why would we do that? Come on, man. We wound up giving her an Arabic name, which is funny because neither of us are Arabic. So I wonder how that was doable. Anyway, yeah, so I still love my daughter's name. It's a beautiful name. But I think it would have been cool if it was Wen Chung. Anyway, can we talk about how good the Spider-Man life story is? I think that we all already know Rippler Main. Like, it is sick, amazing good. And it's only going to be 6 parts, so the 2010 will be the last one. But notice that that's going to end right around when we're ready for 2020. So I'm wondering if there won't be an epilogue 2020. Chip is awesome. And I don't like to ask writers what they're going to do in the future. I like being surprised. I'm not one of those comic book guys who's like, could you give me some spoilers for the future so I could be the first to report it to my fans? Nope, sorry guys. You're not going to get that here. You're just going to get my opinion on really good comics. But yeah, I would love to know what Chip is going to do. And I will find out when I read them. Let's see. Hulk was a bit unfair. The X-Men World War... He was very unfair. He was extremely unfair with the X-Men. Like, I read that and I'm like, dude, that was messed up. Especially with Wolverine. Like, he punched him into retardation. I mean, like, dude, who the hell does stuff like that, you know? No one smacks Mercury like that. My mom almost named me Cameron Poe, Nick Cage from Con Air. That could have been kind of cool, because that was a really good Nick Cage movie, man. Rippler Main wants to marry Chip. Nice. I'll pass it on to Chip. Professor X gets crapped on too much. He is amazing. I like that they make his character complicated, though. You know what I'm saying? That's the thing about the X-Men. Their characters is just so messed up that, like, they deal with so much crap that the idea of an X character, a mutant character, coming out of all of that happens to them unscathed, still coming out pure like white satin sheets. It's almost like watching a Cthulhian mythology, a Lovecraftian mythology movie, or reading a book like that. The character that we meet in the beginning is never the same when they come out at the end, because the stuff that they have to deal with, the compromise they have to make, and Professor X of them all. Yeah, I mean, like, we've seen Professor X change, we've seen Magneto change, we've seen Wolverine change, we've seen Cyclops change. He's probably had the biggest changes, you know what I'm saying? There are people who love Cyclops so much, they don't realize he actually went full-on bad guy. Like, he was a bad guy, for crying out loud. But some people are just like, I love Cyclops so much, but why do you love Cyclops so much? Because the way that he deals with the changes in his life, and, you know, the people that he's responsible for, he's a great leader. So, of course, what happens to his, you know, the people that he's in charge of, the people he's responsible for, it's going to affect him. It's going to. Very excited to see what he's going to do. I want to know what's going to happen afterwards, because apparently Uncanny X-Men is going to end for that to happen, and it's only going to be a couple of issues. Like, what's up? I used to hate Cyclops so much. That's funny. Bad is a certain point of view. Chillmonger, it's funny. There's a Greek philosopher named Sybaris, which is actually also the name of, you know what? You can look up Sybaris on your own. But Sybaris had this quote, there is no good, there is no evil, there's only different points of view, which I think is a really cool quote. Unless you're Hitler, then F you. But, you know, the variant covers look great for Black Cat. Hey, Professor, Comics Watching says, been a while since I caught the live stream. I download every video you upload and listen every week. Awesome, dude. Awesome. I was actually thinking about turning this into a full-on podcast, but I would have to do it a lot less formal than this. You know what I'm saying? I think I would have to. You know what? You guys let me know. I was thinking about expanding. I actually did. If you go to the front page, you'll see I used to be on Podbean. But Podbean for free only allows you a certain amount of space, so I would delete an old one and upload a new one, you know? So, oh no, this is very informal. This is literally just me. I come in here with almost nothing to say, and I'm just like, I feed off of you guys. You guys ask me questions or have something to say. I talk about whatever you guys are talking about. I don't make this longer. No, I don't. I never know how long a podcast is going to be. Sometimes it's only 20 minutes, to a half an hour long. Sometimes it's like this. Sometimes I go 3 hours. You know what I'm saying? So I never know how long the thing is going to be. But if I were to do an actual podcast, I would probably have to do something very different from this. Like only talk about the latest stuff that's come out and things like that, and then actually try and get interviews with people. The only person I've ever really tried hard to get an interview from was Jim Zub, but only because he's so close, he's so local. And he put out, you guys notice that he does the Stone Star. Issue number 1 and 2 are out. I actually get those comic books for free. He sends me those comic books for free digitally, which is awesome because it's a digital exclusive comic book. But he actually sends those to me so that I can review them. And he said at one point, I'll try and hook you up with an interview. So I was like, listen, I know you're busy. Like the guy, he's a professor at Seneca College. You know what I'm saying? He does like animation and things like that. He teaches. He's got a lot that he does, a whole lot that he does. And he does help people. He's a good person. At his heart, he's a good person. You know what I'm saying? But he kind of pisses me off. He pisses me off that he doesn't go and he actually said to me in the most recent thing, hey man, not to me personally, but he says to all the people that he's sending this out to, but he doesn't do it as a mass mailer, which I love. He does it as individual, emails, which is, it's respectful. It's great. Because if I just got this stuff as a mass mailer, I'd be like, no, if all these other people are going to do it, I have no interest in doing it. I have no interest in reviewing his comic book. He's going to send it out as a freaking mass mailer. But he sent it out individually. So I was like, all right, that's respectful. That's cool. I love that he did that. I would feel like a jerk if I didn't review his comic book. It helps that I actually genuinely love his comic book, Max Dunbar is doing the art on the... Wait, is he? It's Max Dunbar or Stephen Cummings? No, I'm positive it's Max Dunbar. He's doing the art. And it's great. It's great. But Zub did not... Yeah, you can read and trade. It'll be good. It'll help out a lot. What do you call it? Zub said, I'll try and do interviews when I can. So I asked him, I was like, listen, here's the deal. If you came in to Gotham Central and just sat down with me on a Tuesday while I'm doing my my This Week in Comics, if you just came in and sat down with me for like 5 minutes and talked to me just about Stone Sour, Jesus Christ, I'm going into, cool bands back in the day. Now I'm not going to remember what it's called, am I? Crap. I'm not going to remember what it's called now because I just said the wrong name. It's not Stone Sour. It's Stone. God damn it. Anyway, it's a really cool comic book, all right? And what do you call it? I was hoping he was just going to do it. And he's like, listen, I've got grading all day, and then we're going out to Calgary Comic Con. Okay, no problem. But I'm not going to ask anymore. Like, I'm done. I'm done. All right? So, yeah. I would love, more than anything else, I think that Jim Zub has got an incredible, rags to riches-esque, comic book origin story. And I would love to be able to give that to you guys and just talk with him about that, or at least talk about his comic book, just something, because I really do love promoting his work. I love promoting anything this guy does. That being said, man, the guy pisses me off with his whole, yeah, I'll try and do something with you. No, I don't have time. God damn it. Anyway, yeah, so there's that. One of these days, maybe, he'll contact me and say, let's do that interview. That would be freaking awesome. But until then, Cyclops is my favorite strategist in the Marvel continuity right now. Howard is in the background when the armies came through the portals. Yes, he was right there. You can see it online. Look for Howard the Duck still scene. Like, it's just the idea that they got him in there. Like, it is what it is. They try to get as many people as they could in there. Let's see. Norman Osborn over in Utopia. I'm very worried about Emma Frost and Mystique's plan next week, right? Lewis Versatility, what do you all do with your comics? Do you resell them, or do you have enough space? I have enough space, but I'm running out of space, which scares me. I don't know what I'm going to do with my comic books at this point. But like I said, we are also thinking about moving. So if we do move, it's going to be to a house, and yeah, we're going to be good. I didn't have my dinner. You know what? I think you're making fun of me, Corey Irwin. I didn't eat my dinner yet. Frost is the rest, go all the way. Talking to Yeto. Caleb, Cyclops is my favorite tactician, doing on the fly and getting it right. I've seen the best decisions from him. Hello, he took out the Dark Avengers and away the X-Men Utopia. Yes. Mr. DZ Comics, what's up, dude? Thor had a cool beard in Endgame. Thor has had his best beard in the comic books, though. All right, under Walt Simonson, oof, my lord. Sorry, I'm about 15 minutes away from Pearson Airport. That's the YYZ. If you guys ever listen to Rush, that's what they named that album after, the YYZ, Pearson International Airport. Let's see, I think they'll put FF and MCU around the next 5-year mark to introduce the next baddie, Galactus. I think they're going to do it before 5 years. The X-Men, I'm thinking they might wait 5 years for. But if they just waited 2 for the Fantastic Four, and realistically, they could do it soon. They could do it in 1 if they wanted to. But I think 2 would probably be the ideal number. Mark Guerrero, Phoenix should be something built up for the next several phases. Yes, and it should not be a 1-movie kind of deal. John Byrne was big on that point, and he's 100% right. Chris Hemsworth was incredible in Endgame. Okay, it's jumping, so I'm going to get down here. Let's revisit their YouTube porch. No, it's all good. Whatever happened to that Doctor Doom movie? It was not made, and I'm glad it wasn't made. Plus, I can't remember the name of the guy, but very respectful dude. He was like, you know what? I don't like what they did with the character, what they had me doing with the character. I read a lot of Doctor Doom afterwards, and they did it a huge injustice, a huge disservice. So I would not make another movie. I would not make a follow-up Doctor Doom movie with Fox, as it were. Very respectful. I wouldn't be disappointed at all to see him return as Doctor Doom. They probably won't do that, but that would be cool. Who has a better beard right now in the comics, Thor or Aquaman? Okay, I'm going to give it to Aquaman, because I think he looks good in a freaking beard, man. I've always liked Aquaman with a beard. I also, of course, it's an unpopular opinion, I also like him without his hand. I'm just saying, with the gaff hook. I don't like that. I don't like the water hand. I don't like the magic hand. I don't like the hook that shoots laser beams. No, I just like the regular harpoon stuck in there. 2nd Street Marvel, thank you, brother. $9.99. Keep up the good work, brother. As long as you keep going, I'll be here to support you. And this is a picture of love. In fact, you know what? You deserve a little dance. You know what? You deserve a little dance. You're gonna get a little dance. Not from me, because I don't dance, but I will. Yeah, like that's the Captain Marvel dance, right? So anyway, he's little. He's little, so there's your little dance. But genuinely, thank you, man. I appreciate that. And you know what? I think that might be a thing I do from now on every time I get a super chat. I think I'm going to do that every time because that was freaking funny. What do you think, Professor? I didn't see it. I'm going to have to see that again. Was Inhumans supposed to be a movie? Yes. Inhumans was supposed to be a movie, but Kevin Feige didn't want to do it. So he didn't do it. So instead somebody else did it, and it was like a rush thing. And it shows what happens when you make a movie or a TV show that you don't actually want to make. So I'm glad that Kevin Feige didn't do it. Because if he did, it would have been a flop of an MCU movie. And that would have stunk. Yeah, I kind of wish that they didn't do it as a TV series either. Because it kind of wrecked the Inhumans for a while. And the people who did it were, some of them were actually really good actors too. Oh, unbelievable. Okay, Comic Quirks. Thank you for the $2. Dance, baby, dance. Oh, wait a sec. I want to dance, magic, dance. Dance, magic, dance. Put that magic spell on you. Watch that, baby. Yeah, so we were just doing David Bowie, right? You remind me of the Babe. The Babe with the power. The power. What power? The power of voodoo. Who do you do what? Remind me of the Babe. A little dance. Pretty sure the quality of Inhumans result in a lack of supergiant in the MCU. Okay, I'll give you that. Everything is because Supergiant is gone. If Feige said there was said no, there was probably a reason. Yeah, he just wasn't into the Inhumans. He had no interest in being in doing an Inhumans movie. None. So with the desire not there, he wouldn't have done any service to it. So, that's how I feel. There are a lot of comic books that I love, and I'm like, oh, why is he only doing 5 issues of it? But you know what? If he did a 6 issue, it probably would have sucked because he had a 5-issue story. So he or she only made a 5-issue story. I gotta respect that. I gotta give mad respect for that. Need a younger guy to play Batman? Maybe. No, the new Batman movie is gonna have Jorah. What the heck is his name? Sir Jorah. All right. No, I cannot I cannot endorse that statement. Sir Jorah is a freaking awesome actor, man. I ain't even playing around with that, dude. That guy is awesome. And you know what? I'm not going to give spoilers for Game of Thrones. I'm just saying. Much love, my peeps. I want Arthur's. So you're talking about Aquaman beard trimmed in the style of Joshua Middleton. I have to see what Joshua Middleton looks like, Corey. Dan Shazzy, Harley Quinn. Does she say that? I didn't see that. I'll have to check that out there, Caleb. Which issue was that in? John Wright, new Batman. Oh, what's up, John Wright? How you doing, man? I hardly ever see you here. The new Batman films need to not be rushed and have a coherent story 100%. If there's a way to make Miles Morales in the MCU, I will freak because I need it. One of these days. Never say never. Like, look. Let's be realistic. I don't know how long. You know what? Like, it's been so long now. There's a lot of people who grew up on the MCU movies. No. This July 8th, I'm gonna be 44 years old. All right, and I grew up thinking that all of the freaking superhero movies were gonna be crappy superhero movies. Like Superman was incredible. Superman 2 was incredible, and then there was Adam West. No disrespect to Adam West, God rest his soul, and Burt Ward, Frank Gorshin. Cesar Romero, Burgess Meredith, you know what I'm saying? All of them. They were amazing. But it was campy, and I don't want campy. I don't like campy. I just don't like campy. I've never liked campy. You heard that in some of my comic book reviews. I don't like campy comic books. I don't like the silly stuff. I just don't. And the whole bat dance, I didn't dig it. I wasn't, even when I was a kid, I didn't really dig it. That being said, what have you now? The, blah 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 blah. What the heck was it? When the new Batman came out with Michael Keaton, I'm like, holy crap, we're getting a good Batman movie. Part 2 is pretty good also. And then, as typical, part 3 and 4 suck. That's right, I said it. Bat nipples. Don't even argue with me on that. Hey, everybody, chill. Come on, man. I love you, Arnold, but what the hell? And I just grew up thinking we're not going to have any good movies. And then all of a sudden Iron Man came out. I'm like, oh, Lord, what did I just watch? Oh, this changes everything. And then they did that Avengers teaser at the end, and that was just supposed to be a joke. But there's not one person on the face of the planet who took it as a joke. So it had to happen. Incredible Hulk came out, after the Ang Lee Hulk movie came out. Incredible Hulk came out, and like, wow, that was actually pretty good. Not by today's standards, but all these other movies came out. Thor, all these movies came out. I'm like, damn, this is great. Captain America, like, that's the first superhero movie I ever cried during, man. I'm remembering when the Man-Thing came out straight to DVD, dude. What? So here you have it. All of a sudden, Avengers comes out. I'm like, nah, that's impossible. That's impossible. So then, and make no mistake. We got to give credit to the Spider-Man movie. We got to give credit to the X-Men movie. But the first one that gets the ultimate holy crap gotcha is Blade. I've said it before. I'm going to say it again. In fact, you know what? I got my man, Wesley Snipes, right over here because he's effing Blade. That's you damn right. Yeah, and I build the Man-Thing because the Man-Thing's right up top there. But my point is that was just that was insanely good. And again, part 3 sucked. I blame Triple H for that. I'm joking. But no, that movie sucked. What have you? But like, Sean Young was made fun of for wanting to play Catwoman. Because I'm seeing Sue-Ann talking about Michelle Pfeiffer right now. Michelle Pfeiffer was gorgeous. What do you call it? Sean Young is also gorgeous. And she's an incredible actress. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying, I'm not saying anything bad about Michelle Pfeiffer. Don't take it that way. But Sean Young wanted to play, and she was called crazy for wanting to play Catwoman. She was called crazy for dressing up in the role and saying, I want to play Catwoman. But then you turn around and you look at what these people are doing today. Everybody wants to be in a superhero movie. Everybody. That's sick. You know what I'm saying? That's sick. What happened? We thought we would never get... Who in their right mind thought that we would get a Batman-Superman movie? Okay, granted, the movie sucked. There's a couple people out there who like it, and I'm sorry. In my own personal taste, and most of the people in the world, the movie sucked. That being said, like, dude, I'm not a fan who's just going to be rabid like, I like anything that you give me, anything. No. It's still got to be good. It's still got to be done right. And that wasn't done right. Zack Snyder needs to just get the boot. Sorry. What do you call it? I love The Undertaker, but The Undertaker's too old to wrestle anymore. That needs to stop. I'm embarrassed to see The Undertaker wrestle anymore. That's just that. And I still love The Undertaker as much as anyone, but I don't want to see him wrestle anymore. If I want to see him wrestle, I'll go back in the day. No, nowadays, I want to see him come out, that entrance, I want to see him chokeslam somebody, and I want to see him go back. That's all I want to see. I don't want to see all that other stuff, because he sucks nowadays. He's too old. Sorry. Love you, man. I love you. Mark Calloway, you are the best. Yeah, like, dude, we got all these incredible movies right now. We got an Avengers movie, for crying out loud. We got movies we never thought was going to happen. We're sitting there talking about, man, it's a shame. We're never going to live to see the day when the X-Men and Fantastic Four can join the rest, the Avengers and all that stuff. And look what happened. We're never going to live to see a day when Spider-Man can join the rest of the Avengers. Look what happened. Much like they say in the WWE, never say never. Never say never. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm saying, never say never. So, yes, I have nothing but... Comics Blues with Johnny Guitar. The Bixby show wasn't good. Now, you wouldn't be talking about the Bill Bixby Hulk movie, would you? The TV show? You wouldn't be talking about that, would you? Because, man, we about to fight. We's about to fight. And I just gave my martial arts background, and I didn't add, 6 years military hand-to-hand, where I taught hand-to-hand, basic hand-to-hand, and knife fighting. But I'm saying, man, we about to fight. Because for the time, dude, I loved it. Oh. No, 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 no. You know what? Let me show you guys a drawing that my son did. My oldest son. He did this beautiful drawing for me. I love this. It's a beautiful drawing. I'm going to use this to shun you, John. You are shunned. I don't want to talk to you anymore. But I mean, like, it all started with this freaking guy coming out with the clanky, creepy armor, and then, you know, the Iron Man and all that stuff, like the MCU, and it's just like, at this point, nothing is off the table. Nothing is off the table. Amy Pascal just left. Amy Pascal is the one who made the deal with Kevin Feige. She used to be Kevin Feige's boss when Feige used to work for Sony. Yeah, for Sony. She just left Sony to go work at Universal. Universal, mind you, which has the distribution rights for Namor the Submariner and the Incredible Hulk. It's the reason why we don't get any more solo Hulk movies anymore. Excuse me. Dude, I'm saying. Wow. Oh, hey, if anybody wants to see Jack Kirby, an image, he's not talking, but if anybody ever wants to see Jack Kirby on TV, like moving around and stuff like that, go and look up the Bill Bixby Incredible Hulk TV series. Look up Incredible Hulk, Jack Kirby. Wow, almost had a brain fart there. Incredible Hulk Jack Kirby TV series, TV show, whatever. They'll show you just the scene where he actually acts as the police sketch artist as they're trying to show what the Hulk looked like. Really cool scene. It's great that Jack Kirby got to be in there, as he's one of the creators of the character. Yeah, great stuff. Namor was mentioned as an Easter egg in Endgame. No, he was not. There was the moment where they talked about the earthquake, Okoye, who, oh man, I'm like the head away from having the Okoye figure, the Build-A-Figure for my stuff. Anyway, yeah, Okoye was talking about, yeah, there was an earthquake underground, and Black Widow's like, well, we should go investigate it. I'm like, no. We handled it by not handling it. We just let it go. It's just an earthquake. What's the big deal? That's a reference that we might wind up getting some Namor action at some point. There was also another reference, if you guys noticed, in Iron Man Part 2. You remember in Iron Man Part 2, there was the scene towards the end. It was a blink and you miss it, but you can still freeze frame it, especially if you got it on Blu-ray. You freeze frame it crystal clear clarity, where they got all of the places where people have been found at the end of the end credits scene of the of Iron Man. You see the Thor, Mjolnir is there. You know what I'm saying? They got Mjolnir. Yes, I am worthy. But you see, you know, Mjolnir there and whatnot. And they but they had the big screen where they had, there's some action going on over here, and where Wakanda's going to be. There's some action down here in Nevada. Well, not Nevada, in New Mexico. It's it's a magical place. They have all these different, places all over the place where some superhero activity has been discovered. One of them was in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. That was actually meant to be a reference to the Atlanteans and obviously Namor. So, 2 references, Easter egg references to Namor in the MCU. Boom shakalaka. He would be better as an anti-hero, I think. Just like he was actually... Yeah, he really was an anti-hero. He mostly did damage, but he also helped at the same time. But yeah, he started off as a villain. He should stay as a villain. I got my Namor behind me someplace. It'd be amazing if Namor is introduced in Black Panther 2. You know what that could eventually lead to. Yes, Atlantis and Wakanda was on the screen. Yep. Let's see. Just gotta learn Gambit's infinite combo. Amazons and Atlanteans versus Wakandans and Asgardians. Oh, Mark Guerrero, this might be your best one yet. Can we do the version of the Atlanteans from the DC universe? Because I think that those Atlanteans are typically a little bit tougher than the Marvel Atlanteans, and I hate saying that, but it's kind of true. Let's see, Chillmonger. Damn, everyone's worthy these days. Hey, I'm not just everyone. I'm not just anyone. Corey Irwin. I have no clear idea who Kevin Feige should pick for Namor. Oh, I don't even play with that stuff, man. Mark Guerrero, who does Universal still have Namor? They never made a movie. Why does Universal still have Namor? Okay, here's the thing. Universal has Namor and the Hulk. They have their distribution rights. So what this means, and this is really, really complicated. So I'm positive there's some things I'm going to get wrong. But keeping it as basic as I can keep it, as basic as I know, what has been verified is that the distribution rights for a production means selling them on DVD, selling them on digital release, selling them on VHS, for crying out loud. You know, Betamax, whatever. Yeah, I went Betamax. What are you going to do? Selling the soundtrack, selling the toys. Yeah, merchandise. All of the merchandise rights, for the most part, will belong to to Universal for the Hulk and for what's his name, Namor. Now, how do they get around it? If it's a Namor movie or a Hulk movie or a Hulk and Namor movie, all the distribution rights go to Universal. But if it's an Avengers movie and the Hulk is in it, well, that is the Hulk, but it's not a Hulk figure. It's an Avengers figure. You get it? So Marvel, the MCU, Disney, they can make money off of that. So they can have Namor and the Hulk in the movies. But if they do just a Namor or just a Hulk movie, they don't have any distribution rights for it. They can make the movie, but they can't have the distribution rights for it. Here's the one thing that I'm not entirely clear on, and if I get into it too much, I will be wrong, I promise you, because even Kevin Feige said it's too complicated to get into. I just mentioned the Hulk and Namor in the same breath, right? Here's the thing. Apparently Namor's contract is even more detailed. It's even more messed up. With Fox and Sony, the way that their deals worked was they don't have to make a movie in order for them to maintain distribution rights and whatever else rights for it. They permanently own the movie if they choose. Is what it is. It is what it is. So there is no, like, you have to make a movie every 5 to 7 years in order, or a reboot every 5 years in order for the movie to for you to maintain the rights. Otherwise, they automatically transfer back. No. This is something entirely different. With Namor and the Hulk, they will maintain those distribution rights indefinitely. They could sell them back. There's no doubt in my mind that they can, and this is just me speculating, they could sell them back. But here's the question. Why would they? Why in their right minds would they? They already know that the Hulk is a moneymaker. They already know that. Is Namor a moneymaker? Could they just sell the rights back? They could, but they won't because they think that Namor might be a moneymaker. Now, you and I know that a Namor solo movie, whatever, blah, 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 probably not going to be that big of a deal. And if Universal just simply say, hey, listen, man, we'll sell you back Namor and the Hulk for like $1 billion each, maybe they would take it. Maybe they wouldn't. Who knows? I don't know what they're what they're willing to do or what they're not willing to do. But here's the funny thing about it: the people who would be making this deal on the Disney side and on the Universal side are not fans of the characters. They don't know who these characters are. They see the Hulk in these movies and they're like, yeah, he's a big moneymaker. Namor? Give me some information about Namor, intern lackey flunky. And they turn around, what are they going to say? He's the first character that Marvel, as Timely Comics, owned. Yeah, and like you look at who actually created him, all that stuff, it's pretty important. So, that's all they know about it. I'm actually getting really tired right now. I feel like myself slipping. So I'm going to try and wrap this up very soon. Yeah, exactly. It's not worth it. But here's the thing: they don't understand that, Jay Nunya. They don't understand that. They only know what they're going to be told, and they're going to say, "Oh yeah, everybody's saying that he's not a worthy character." But who the hell ever heard of Iron Man? Who the hell ever heard of Captain America? You know what I'm saying? They got Robert Downey Jr. to play Iron Man. And all of a sudden, he's the biggest, the most important character ever. You got people crying in the movie theater because a comic book character died. You got Steve Rogers, Captain America. They made an absolute nobody, a guy who played the Human Torch in another movie. they got this guy to play him in a freaking, thing. Like, oh my God, you know what I'm saying? Who cares? So somebody like, what you call it? Yeah, I should sleep. I appreciate it. I love that you always look out for me too, Suan. I appreciate that. Um, what do you call it? These guys, it's like, they only look at it like, listen, this is a no-name character, just like all these other characters that they had. You know what I'm saying? Hawkeye is a big character. Black Widow was a big character. All these characters, big character. The only character they ever had that was worth their salt was Spider-Man. Maybe Wolverine. So, psst, you know what I'm saying? This Namor character, he's apparently a really important character. We own him. We're not going to sell him unless they give us $2 billion because they don't know. And they're just looking at it as it's not costing us any money to keep him. So, who knows? Who knows? Who knows? So we'll see. We'll see what's up. Iron Man is so popular among engineers when his movie was first released. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I wasn't even a mechanical engineer, and I'm just like, I should try to create an Iron Man armor. Obviously, I can't, but if we could, we would. Hey, Chef Marcos, what's up? You got here just as I'm getting ready to leave. Don't forget the romaine lettuce. I might have another romaine lettuce salad because that was a damn good salad, brah. Mark Guerrero, Namor would probably be seen as an Aquaman ripoff by non-comics readers. Probably. Guys, I'm going to end on this. I have created a Patreon account. I don't have it up yet because I don't have everything up yet. But I have to learn more about how Patreon works. And if anybody does know how Patreon works, please meet me on the Facebook page. We'll talk and, we'll private message and see what's what. I need to learn how Patreon works. I have some videos that I want to privately release. Go figure, Mark Guerrero of all people. I have Versus videos. I'm going to get back into the Versus videos, and I'm going to start putting those out for Patreon exclusives. Excuse me. Just because, Patreon. So, excuse me. I'm going to do a bunch of tiers for the stuff, and I'm going to see what's up. I appreciate that Second Street Marvel. And I know you would. You are awesome. Thank you so much again for the super chat earlier today. Genuinely helps out. What do you call it? But anyway, yeah, I'm going to start trying to do some stuff, and I'm going to start giving a whole bunch of stuff away on there. There's going to be some things that I will do. I'll release it on regular YouTube for everybody else a month later. There's some things that will stay exclusively on on Patreon. But for now, I have the account set up. I just have to learn how to do it properly. Similar with the web page, I'm actually really angry at how much time it's taking me to do stuff, and I like demand a web page at this point. So I'm going to start putting some stuff together, and I'm going to talk to some people who can do web pages, and I'm going to get a freaking web page up, and then I will try and find a good way to maintain it, and then we'll see what's up. Raven, what's up, Raven? And you are just your comic book knowledge alone. Your worldly knowledge alone is worth money. But yeah, I generally appreciate that also, Raven. And of course, there's also some people that I'm going to try and take care of anyways because you've been around for a really long time. And much love. People will help out, including Silver Surfer and Suan, because what do you call it? Just being moderators here and on Facebook is really good. It's really important to me. So yeah. Anyway, yeah. Also, live gaming that I'm doing with some people. I got a whole bunch of campaigns set up. Oh, I got a game this Monday with some people, including Derek Pierce. So, and yeah. So anyway, yes. Boom, shakalaka. And I'm out. I'm gonna bounce. I'm gonna go do my thing. I'm gonna go eat. I'm probably gonna watch The Crow because and I got a whole bunch of comic books I gotta read. So love, peace, and hair grease. Hope your guys' free comic book day was as good as mine. Hope your 4th of May. May the 4th be with you. I sound like, freaking Daffy Duck when I do that. May the 4th be with you. Anyway, yeah, so I'm out. Oh, geez, everybody else is already saying goodbye. So fine, goodbye, I'm out. Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.